What if the biggest problem wasn't failing to get what you want, but discovering that what you wanted wasn't what you actually needed? It sounds strange. After all, it's common to picture happiness sitting clearly on the other side of the next achievement, the next purchase, that goal upon which your future seems to depend. But there is a curious situation that many people have experienced. You work towards something for months, sometimes years, then finally you achieve it. And that achievement comes together with the realization that the satisfaction you expected never truly arrives. Well, at least not with the intensity or proportion you imagined. As if you had answered the wrong question, as if that was never the real problem. Wreck-It Ralph is usually remembered for the Easter eggs and the theme of self-acceptance. Those are certainly elements that stand out. But there is another theme that caught my attention. For much of the film, Ralph believes he knows exactly what he wants, and his journey leads him to discover that he is completely mistaken. At the beginning of the film, we are shown the dynamics of the game and how its characters interact. Ralph is constantly excluded by the Icelanders. He doesn't take part in the celebrations. He receives no recognition whatsoever. He's not treated as someone of value. When he tries to join the game's 30th anniversary party, he's rejected once again. So, he reaches an apparently logical conclusion. Only heroes are admired. Heroes receive medals. Therefore, through a simple syllogism, if he earns a medal, he will be admired as well. Ralph is now motivated and has a clearly defined objective. The solution to his frustrations seems obvious. All he has to do is act. But there is an important difference between what we want or even what we need and what we believe will solve the emptiness we feel. And the film explores that confusion remarkably well. Determined to prove his worth and knowing that medals can be earned in hero's duty, Ralph decides to invade the game. After a complete display of incompetence, fear, and lack of emotional control, he persists and eventually obtains the medal. The award ceremony is filled with honors. Congratulations, soldier, you have etched in the work of virtue a legacy beyond compare. But there is something deeper hidden in that scene. That recognition is completely hollow. It was not given by someone who knows Ralph. It was not earned through genuine merit. It is merely a holographic recording, a generic message triggered automatically. His achievement was obtained outside the game's rules, and all the praise attached to it is equally devoid of genuine admiration. Even so, Ralph already imagines his glorious return. It is easy to confuse symbols with needs. The medal looks like recognition, but it isn't that, just as status can look like belonging, or money can look like security. Sometimes we chase representations of something, shadows, not the thing itself. After arriving in Sugar Rush, Ralph meets Vanellope, and this is where the first crack appears in some of his most fundamental beliefs. While building a new cart, Ralph uses exactly what he always considered a villain's trait: his strength, his ability to break things. The very first thing he associated with being rejected. When he sees the finished product, he is disappointed and reminded of his inability to build things. He is good at the opposite, but Vanellope loves the new cart. For the first time, someone truly appreciates something Ralph has done. Without medals, without fixing anything, he receives gratitude. And that matters because the film begins to suggest another possibility. Perhaps what Ralph is looking for isn't the medal or even the approval of the nice landers. Perhaps it lies in understanding the nature of his talents and how they can be used in ways that are truly valued. Later on, one of the simplest yet most meaningful scenes in the film takes place. It is especially symbolic if you are a parent. Vanellope makes a medal for Ralph, a candy medal with the phrase, "You're my hero." Without a relationship behind it, that gift is worth absolutely nothing. It carries no prestige, it proves nothing, and yet it possesses something that the stolen hero's duty medal never had: real meaning. Objects do not possess intrinsic value. Value only exists if someone values it. That value can come from intention, from usefulness, from the story behind it. Vanellope's medal works exactly like that. As an object, it is worth very little, even less when it's made of candy in a place where even the trees are made of sugar. What truly gives it value is affection made tangible. And there is also a message of hope hidden within it, because this display of affection comes from someone Ralph didn't even know at the beginning of the story, as if the film were reminding us that the future can still surprise us. Sometimes we search for solutions in familiar places, while what we truly need hasn't even entered our lives yet. Then we arrive at the decisive moment. Despite everything he has experienced, Ralph still hasn't learned the lesson. He returns to his game. On his chest hangs an official hero's medal given to him by King Candy. Just like the one from Hero's Duty, it represents no genuine achievement or merit. Where he imagined being celebrated, there isn't even anyone left to celebrate him. His absence has caused the game itself to collapse. Nothing happened the way he imagined it would. This is one of the most relatable moments in the entire film, because almost everyone has experienced some version of it. The achievement arrives, but the promised transformation does not. And that happens because the medal was never capable of solving what Ralph truly lacked. It was never the answer to the right question. Ralph isn't the only character trapped by this kind of misunderstanding. Vanellope believes that winning a race will solve her problems. But like Ralph, what she truly seeks is validation. Turbo believes that his existence only matters if he remains in the spotlight, and that obsession ends up destroying everything around him. Every character is pursuing a solution, but not everyone correctly understands the problem. That helps explain why the story works so well, because it isn't just about goals, it is about interpretation, about the difficulty of identifying what is actually missing from our lives. In the end, Ralph finally understands, not when he gets the medal, but when he realizes what truly matters: his friendship with Vanellope, his connection to other people, the impact he can have on their lives. That's why the decisive moment of the story is not the achievement, it is the discovery. The sacrifice he later attempts is merely a consequence. Once Ralph understands his true objective, his choices naturally begin to follow that direction. He finally stops chasing a symbol and starts protecting what really has value. So, let's return to the discussion from the beginning. How do we discover what we truly want when we often begin by wanting the wrong thing? It would be bold and arrogant to claim there is a formula, but Wreck-It Ralph suggests a path. Through the search, trial, and error, by committing ourselves to action. It was precisely by chasing an empty hero's medal that Ralph discovered it was never what he was looking for. And maybe that happens to us more often than we would like to admit. The search began as a mistake, but it ended as the tool that led him to the right answer. Sometimes the messy journey was precisely what needed to happen in order to reveal what you had honestly been looking for all along. What did you find out looking for something else? Let me know. If you like this, please hit the like button. If you want more, check my other videos and subscribe. There's new content every Wednesday. I'm Charles, and I truly appreciate your time.